Hey, I'm Kirk. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make a check mark or an X in Excel. What? Say, why do you need a check mark or X in Excel? I'll tell you why. If you're doing data entry of any kind, this is the best way possible to make sure that your data is accurate. And it's all based on if statements. And today, we're going to give you that trick. Here is the template I designed to transfer all of our transactions, all of our sales from our reservation system over to QuickBooks. And as you can see, this makes up one transaction. And if this transaction is out of balance, or any of the transactions that you have put in are out of balance, the transfer won't occur. And these numbers right here are the key. This number, the 223, is the total sale. And then we have the breakdown of that sale. And if this breakdown doesn't match the sale, the transaction is out of balance and will not be transferred. So what I did to ensure accuracy, at first I put in over here basically an auto sum of the breakdown, and if that breakdown, these two numbers matched, I knew it was good. Well, as you can see, with all these transactions, it's quite easy to miss this number if it's different than the sale. What I then did is I put in a check mark or a red X if it's out of balance. Now, if we change one number here, we make it out of balance, you can automatically see a big red X pop up, and we know that the transaction is out of balance. And if we have any of that, you know not to transfer it before working on this itemized line. Check mark if it's good, red X if it's bad. Let me teach you how to do that. Here's the worksheet we're going to use to show you how to create a check mark or an X based on an if statement. I've already copied over our total sale of 223 and then the breakdown of that. Real quick, if we did just do an auto sum of these numbers, because they're all negative numbers, we're going to get a negative number. So what we need to do is, you can see, multiply that auto sum by a -1, and that'll change it to a positive number. So now we're comparing a positive with a positive. First thing we need to do is to find the code for the check mark and the X that we want to use. To do that, we need to go up to the Insert tab, go all the way to the right. You can see the symbol icon. Click on that. It'll bring up all the symbols and special characters that we can use. And for us, it is in Wingdings. And we have a couple of check marks we can choose from, just like we have a couple of X's that we can choose from. I like to use this check mark, and the important thing is we need to write down the Unicode name and the character code. So it is Wingdings 252 for the check mark that we want, and then also for the X that we want, it is Wingdings 251. So 252 for the check mark, 251 for the X. So let's write them down here so you won't forget them. 252 and 251. So let's go up to our if statement, and we'll now compare these two cells. If they are equal to one another, we're going to create a check mark. If they are not equal to each other, we're going to create an X. So let's go in and we'll start with the equal sign for formula. And then we're going to write in our if formula. And we're going to need to start off with a bracket or a parenthesis, and then another parenthesis for our logic test. Our logic test is for this cell, which is E9. If this cell equals this cell, which is C5, close parentheses, that is our logic test. If E9 equals C5 comes back true, we want to put in a check mark. So we do comma, space, and then we write in character, parentheses, 252. So we're telling it to use character 252. If it's true, it's going to come back with a check mark. Now, if it's false, you need to put in a comma. Now, if it's a false, we want it to bring back character parentheses 251, close parentheses. Now we need another close parentheses to close out the if statement. So if this is true, if E9 equals C5, we're going to get back a check mark. If it's false, we're going to get back an X. Let's hit enter. Now you're going to see right away you get a crazy symbol in here. That's because our font right now is sent to Collaborate. And what we need is to set it to Wingdings. So we go up here, and what we do is we scroll all the way down the font, and we click on Wingdings. And now it'll show up as a check mark. Now if our sum is off by a number, we get a different auto sum. You can see it puts in an X saying that it's wrong. If it's correct, it's a check. So we now know our if statement is working correctly. Now, how about if we want to make it a big green X or a big red X? And to do that, we need to use conditional formatting or create a rule for it. So we go up to the conditional formatting tool, we pull down and we go to new rule, and let's create a new rule for this. Now, it's only going to pertain to this cell, and we want the cell value to be equal to. Now, we want it to equal to character 252, and we are going to format that. We want it to be bold. It's already set to, beforehand I set the size to 14, but we want it to be like a dark green, and we want to click OK. So right now you can see that the check mark changed color to a green. Now for an X, we want to go up and create another rule. Again, only dealing with this one cell, and we want to say that it has to be equal to. And what do we want it to be equal to? We want it to be equal to the character of 251. And then let's go format that. And in this case, we still want it to be bold. The color black is fine. But let's go up here to the Fill tab. And let's fill that cell with red. So this way is if we get a false statement back, it's going to be a red with a red, I'm sorry, it's going to be an X with a red background. It'll really stand out for you. So let's click OK, and now let's test it. So we know that it's true. We have a green X. Now if we make it -20, it throws off our balance. We get a red filled check X. It really stands out. You can see quite the difference. This is what I use in my data entry. You can use it in yours as well with different characters. I hope it helps you out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Please also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much, and we'll see you real soon.